Hello there and welcome to our tutorial on how to create a drum track in Bandlab. Now this sort of drum track that I'm going to show you how to create could be used for all manner of different things, but it's a really basic beat that you can use and then develop upon in your work. And the main parts of the kit that we're going to use in our beat is the bass drum down here, the snare drum, which is on the side, and the hi-hat cymbal, which is two cymbals that can be open or closed. And I'm going to show you a pattern and then show you how to input this into Bandlab. So firstly, the bass drum, we're going to have playing a pattern called 4 to the floor. And what that means is that there is one sound on every beat of the bar. So if we imagine that this grid here is our 4/4 bar, or 4 beats long, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 beats, and our bass drum on every single one of them. Next up comes the snare, and that's going to join in on beats 2 and 4. So it ignores the first beat and plays on 2, ignores the third beat and plays on 4. And this emphasises these beats, and actually these are the beats that if you're clapping along to a song, you will clap on, 2 and 4. And finally, the hi-hats can be used to fill in on the off beats, and they create often a more busy pattern, something a bit more exciting. This is a very simple pattern where they're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So basically the opposite of what the bass drum is doing. And we probably used a closed hi-hat for this, although this picture here shows an open hi-hat to demonstrate the two cymbals. We could also change this to a slightly more busy pattern, so we could add in extra hi-hat notes wherever we like, really, and I'll demonstrate how to do that as we go and create this beat in Bandlab. So you should have been given a class code to access Bandlab, and once you've got in and joined your class, you should end up on a screen that looks a little bit like this. Obviously mine has every class in the whole school on it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is click up here, this little folder with some music notes on, and this is my library. And this should take me into here, which is my library with all of the different projects that I've been working on in it. And when I come back to rework on something, I will click this and open in Mix Editor. But for today, I'm going to start new. So I'm going to click Mix Editor, and this will take us to where we're going to build our track. Awesome. So once it's loaded, you'll get given this option. We're not going to use the voice, mic, guitar or bass at the moment because these are live instruments that you need to plug in. Instead, we're going to be using these MIDI instruments over here, and actually today we're going to focus on the drum machine. So drum machine, create beats and rhythms in seconds with our built-in drum machine. Let's click that. And there we go, fantastic. We've got a drum machine and we can see all of this here, but the first thing I'm going to do is actually delete all of that because I don't want somebody else's work there on my track. So to give you a little bit of a tour, this is our digital audio workstation, and this is the window that we're going to use. We have our playback options here so we can hear what we've recorded in. This is our tempo in beats per minute, so you can make it faster by having a bigger number or slower by having a smaller number. This is our time signature, 4/4. We're going to leave it like this for now, but you could have 3/4 or something else, but most tracks like the ones that we're going to create are in 4/4. This is the title, and I just click on it to edit. The metronome, volume, the all-important save button, and the zoom in and out buttons here. And finally, this is the track. So we will layer up lots and lots of tracks down here, and they will all go across to create the music. So I've got my drum machine loaded in, and I need to start being able to put some stuff in. So I'm going to click Instrument down in this bottom corner. And I've already got a drum machine in for me. Somebody has already come up with a track, but I don't want to be lazy and use a pre-recorded one, so I'm actually just going to go through and click to delete all of those, and also in pattern A as well, because we have lots of different patterns that we could create. For some reason on mine it always shows up as B first. So just click to delete or if you're being a bit speedy, click and drag until you've got a clear thing. Okay, so we have all of the different parts of the drum kit down here, and they all are labelled, and in fact they're all labelled with a letter as well, which you can play in on your computer keyboard. Over here we have a selection of different styles, so we could have pad kits which are on a drum pad, or we could have drum kits which are live ones. I'm going to stay with the preloaded one for now because I quite like it, but you can play through with them and come up with your own one. Okay, so now we're going to have a go at inputting that drum beat that we looked at in our PowerPoint earlier. So we need a bass drum on every beat of the bar. And you can see that helpfully Bandlab has kind of colour-coded the different beats. And each beat is split into smaller sections, but each one of these coloured sections is a beat. So I need to put a bass drum there, and on number 4 as well. And then our snare drum, which is this purple one here, was on beats 2 and 4. Let's just give that a play and hear what it sounds like at the moment. There we go, a nice simple bass for us to build on. Okay, next up was that closed hi-hat sound, and I needed it on every half beat. So because these beats are split into 4 segments of a beat, I've gone 1, 2, here's the half line, so I'm going to put my hi-hat there. Let's have a listen to this and see what it sounds like. Fantastic, I'm pretty happy with that. A nice simple drum beat. We could put loads of stuff on top of that and this drum beat would support everything. So once I'm happy, I'm going to click Add A and it's appeared in my track. And I'm actually just going to drag that out until I can see 4 of them, because we like to work in groups of 4 in music. So you could say, that's me finished. I've got my drum beat. This is going to last for the whole song, as long as you want it to. And that's all I want to do. But sometimes it's quite nice to develop things, and one of the ways that we can develop a drum beat is by adding extra things into it. So I'm going to click here on B. This is an extension. I'm just going to very quickly put my drum beat that I just had back in. There you go, exactly the same as it was before. And the first thing that I'm going to experiment with is adding more hi-hat beats, because these can be quite versatile and quite quick. Let's have a listen to this. Oh, I quite like that sound, that's good. I'm just going to change this last one. And you can see one of the good things about the drum machine is I can edit whilst the track is playing, so I can hear it in live as well. Okay, so I've added a, live editing as well. I've added a closed hi-hat there just at the end because I quite like the sound of it. And I think I quite like a clap sound in music, so I'm just going to experiment with adding some claps in as well. Let's see what this sounds like. Awesome. So I might decide I might play around with it for a bit longer. I might decide that that's me finished, and if I'm happy with that, I'm going to add, I'm not going to add it right at the start, I'm going to add things where my cursor is. So I'm going to drag my cursor to where I want it, and click Add B, and there we go, that's B in there. And I've got 2 drum patterns, which is fantastic. And one of them, nice and simple and easy, and one of them with a couple of added extras. I will say though, steer clear when you're adding extras of just adding absolutely everything under the sun in the kitchen sink as well. If you follow a random approach like I just did, it comes across sounding really, really messy and unmanageable, and you wouldn't be able to keep in time with it or dance to it at all. Oh, awful, really, really nasty. So you're looking for something that looks nice and clean, quite simple, not too much going on, and these beats will sound the best. Ones like this, not so good at all. So let's close down my editor, go back to the start of my track with my cursor, and let's have a listen to my drum track so far. There we go. So that's my completed drum beat with an extension of some extra developed beats as well. And what I'm going to do now, just to finish, is I would save my project ready to add the next step next time. So I hope that you find this really, really useful. This is the first step in creating our project, and I'll be back with you next week for the next step. I'll see you all soon. Bye.